So my question is,
Hmm.
what is Samadhi? What is the difference between a Samadhi and enlightenment?
First of all, you have to understand that I have not invented these words. And I have not studied scriptures. So, according to me, Samadhi is a more Hindu word. You have heard about Buddhists talking about Samadhi?
I think seldom.
They talk more about Satori and Sambodhi. But because both of the religions have originated in India, so Buddha also knew. It's not that he didn't know what. Those who have come to realize, those who have come to know the truth before him, what word they gave. Buddha gave his own words also. But those words were also there. It's not that the word nirvana was not there before Buddha came. But he made it more famous. But the first thing you have to understand, what is the difference between dhyan and samadhi. Thing is that if you don't know Sanskrit, you may not be able to find words the way a person who knows Sanskrit will be able to define. So I don't know Sanskrit. In dhyan, in meditation, three things happen. Three things are there. One is dhyata, which you can call the meditator. The other is the object on which you are meditating. That means dhya, the object on which you are meditating. And in between, what happens between the meditator and the object on which you are meditating upon is called dhyan, the process. Both the things are getting related. You can call it the seer and the seen. Seer is the one who is meditating, and the seen is the object on which meditating. And what is happening between So in Dhyata and Dhya, the meditator and the object on which you meditate, they remain separate. For a while, maybe you get the distinction disappears for a while. That is what it is called. The meditation has happened. But that remains only for a while. You get the glimpse and then you are back. To your previous state. Again, you become identified with the body. The ego is back. In Samadhi, the distinction of the object and the subject disappears. There is no separation now. When you are in a state of Samadhi, then all the modification of mind stops. It is not a mental act. You transcend mind-body mechanism in Samadhi. You become pure consciousness. Your identification with the body-mind is not there. But if you are again back to again you become identified, then you can call it Satori. Because it may take many Satoris to reach to a state where finally becomes your natural state, where it is no longer a glimpse but a permanent state. So, Samadhi, you become pure consciousness. You are no longer using the mechanism of body-mind. You are in direct. You have become consciousness. In meditation, you are trying to be a watcher and you are watching. You're watching your thoughts, you're watching the changes in the body. There is a pain, somewhere you feel uneasiness, so you're watching everything. You're watching your feeling, emotions. And suddenly it can happen that everything has disappeared. There's nothing to watch. Then the watching turns into itself. That is what Krishnamurti said. When the observer is observed. When there is nothing to watch, then the consciousness returns source, returns back to itself. Then this is being witnessed. Then you become one. The division drops. The division is there. Using the mechanism of mind to know yourself. But once you are the consciousness, once it happens, then the mechanism is no longer needed. It is in standby. It is in rest. It has stopped. Everything has stopped. That is what you can call no mind state. No mind state means that all the modification of mind has stopped. Nothing is happening there. There is no thought. There is no feeling. There are no emotions. Everything has dissolved. Then this division of subject and object also disappears. This is also a created thing. This is also, you have learned. For a small child, there is no division. A newborn child cannot, he has no feeling that I am separate from anything else. That has to be taught. Slowly, the mother touches the cheek of the child. And slowly, the identification begins. Then he realizes that I am separate from my. But this separation is only of the apparatus, only of the mechanism. Body of the mother is separate. But that is also not separate. This separation is a learned thing. If you close your eyes, then where is the separation? The separation is felt because you are identified with body-mind. This is my body. And that one is someone else. But the body cannot have this sense of being that I exist. It is because of the consciousness you have this sense of being, that you have a existence. I am.
The separation is felt because you are identified with body-mind. This is my body, that one is someone else. But the body cannot have this sense of being that I exist. It is because of the consciousness you have this sense of being.
When I asked my father what is the literal meaning, the root meaning of the word Samadhi, long time back, what he said is also, because he is a Sanskrit scholar, so whatever he said is also significant. In Samadhi there is two things included, Adi and Vyadi. So Adi and Vyadi means your physical and mental problems or troubles. So in Samadhi, both are destroyed. Your psychosomatic problems are gone. And the word Samadhi, in Samadhi there is, the first part is Sam. Sam can be, it can mean summon also, that means it is destroyed, your physical and mental problem. And Sam also means when something is balanced. So when you come to the middle, You are no longer on any extreme. The pendulum is in the middle. Then the pendulum stops. If you want to go to one extreme, then you have to go to the opposite. Then you will come back to the next other extreme. So if you want to reach to a harmonious state, a natural state, your natural state, then you have to avoid going to extremes. You have to fulfill the needs of the body, and if there are some psychological needs also, you can fulfill it. Then they will become silent. And if you are fighting with your body and mind, then they will create trouble. So you have to learn the knack of being disidentified. Give them what is their need, and then they will become silent. So when you come to the middle point, then the mind and body both become silent, and it helps you to become more conscious. It helps you to reach to your source. That is what Buddha meant when he said his path is that of a middle path. When you are in the middle, then you will not move from one extreme to the other. Then your inner balance will happen on its own. The Buddhists also talk about these things. Samadhi, they have also talked. So for them, meditation has 3 stages. First, they call it Jingmai, where you are enveloped by shunyata. That means you feel that this emptiness is always there. Though it is unconscious, you are doing things, but you are not involved in those things. You are just doing it as a duty or as an acting. But you are always pulled by this shunyata, this emptiness. And in the second stage, they call it satori, where this emptiness becomes more conscious. You feel it more intensely. Consciously, you experience this emptiness. So you can have hundreds of satoris that will make you more ripe and mature. Then the third thing is samadhi, where you are not getting glimpses once in a while, where you are settled in that emptiness. You are always aware of this emptiness. And when the samadhi becomes ripe, then it is like when the mango is ripe, it falls on its own. That they call nirvana or enlightenment. Patanjali has also talked about different kind of samadhi. One samadhi he calls Sabij samadhi. You can translate it in English, samadhi with seed. That means you get the glimpse, but the desires are still there. You can again go back to the world. The seed has not been burnt, so it can again germinate. Then he talks about Nirvij Samadhi, where the seed is burned finally, so it can never sprout again. Now you are settled in your inner nature. You have come to know that you are pure awareness, pure consciousness. Then he talks about two other samadhi. One he calls Swavikalp Samadhi. That means you have still the option. You have the glimpse, you have experienced it, but you can again go back. You can again be lost in the world. Then there is Nirvikalp Samadhi, which is absolute Samadhi. From that point you cannot return back. It is like the bridge has been broken finally. It is choiceless awareness. Buddha has talked always about, in everything he says samyak sadhana. That means right kind of sadhana, right striving, right effort in the sadhana. Samyak vani, that means right speech. Samyak chesta, you have to make right efforts. Samyak ajivika, that means whatever you are earning for your livelihood, for your survival, that has to be right, in the right way. It is not that the end justifies the mean. You have to choose the right mean also. In the same way, he has talked about Samyak Dhyan, Samyak Samadhi. He has also talked about Samadhi, Samyak Samadhi. So when the inner balance is reached, then only disidentification can happen. You can create the distance. When you are disidentified, then you are not fighting with your body-mind mechanism. You are providing whatever is their need. You are neither for nor against. You are just a watcher on the hill. A witness. You are totally aware what is the need of the body. You will provide it. You are not a masochist. You are not a sadist. So according to Buddhists, when the samadhi has become totally ripe, then enlightenment happens. For that, the word is Nirvikalp Samadhi of Patanjali. And the Buddhist word for enlightenment is Sambodhi. So awareness also has to be something which is not forced, which happens when you have the right understanding. And there is other definition of samadhi also, which means this word comes from sam. So samadhi means samadhan, where when you are in samadhi, then the solution happens. Samadhan means solution. So your inner problems are solved. Samadhi can be of many types. When it is jad samadhi, then you are like in a trance state, which you cannot call it samyak samadhi or the right kind of samadhi. So it depends who is using the word. Otherwise, samadhi and enlightenment both are same thing. If you mean that samadhi is some kind of experience, then you are not a mature person. Samadhi is a solution. Samadhi is being established in your real nature. But it can be of many types, so that means you are growing. Samadhi can only happen. You cannot force it to happen. If you are forcing it, then it is not the real samadhi. It can happen only real samadhi when you are no longer desiring things, desiring objects. When your inner chattering has stopped, when your thoughts are not running, when your emotions are not running, that means there is no inner wave. Then you will be established in your inner nature. So ultimately they are all same, whether you call it samadhi or nirvana or sambodhi. It depends on who is using the word. For Patanjali, the highest state is nirvikalpa samadhi. Is it clear?
If you like our videos, don't forget to like, share and subscribe.